Welcome, everybody, to Banter Saga, our gaming podcast. And we're just going to jump right into it today because we have a ton of things to get through.
Yeah.
We are ranking... I'm not going to say all, but we are ranking a ton of controllers today.
A good portion of the ones you may have used.
Yeah, there's a lot of just kind of standard default controllers. We're not doing any third-party weird stuff. But we're going through a ton of them, ranking them S through trash. And we're starting off kind of strange because I'm pretty sure this is a controller neither of us have actually touched yet.
All right.
This is the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller.
That's right. And I have, go ahead. I forgot you're going first.
Okay. I've given this an A solely based on Sony's track record.
Fair enough. I gave it an NA because I haven't touched it. So I didn't actually rank this one. I'm going to be fair.
That is also fair.
I'm going to probably, like, if it's anything like a certain controller, though, I would probably say between A and S myself.
Yeah, okay, that's, I mean... I didn't after I randomized the list, I didn't tweak it any. So there might be some stuff like that where we just have no idea. But I'll take that for a first entry.
Fair enough.
But moving on to the Sega Genesis 6-button controller.
Oh, yeah.
Which I have given a C.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to just tell you, I rank this quite a bit higher than you. The Genesis 6 button is one of my favorite controllers ever. S tier for me, 100%.
Are you S tier? Are you kidding me?
The 6 button is amazing, all right?
For the Sega Genesis, the 6-button controller
is an amazing controller, yes.
My goodness.
It also makes Mortal Kombat a million times better for all the people that bitch about how hard it is to play on a 3-button. So, yeah.
That's the thing. I 100% understand that the 6-button and any of those type of controllers are tailor-made for fighting games.
That's right.
But here's the thing. Specifically the Genesis 6-button controller, it feels like an afterthought.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. The
buttons X, Y, and Z are these tiny little things placed above the main buttons with barely anything else corrected about the Genesis controller.
That D-pad feels great on that controller. It feels amazing.
The D-pad is virtually identical to the Sega Genesis controller.
That's right.
Which was a mushy piece of trash.
No. It's fine. It's not as good as the NES one. Don't get me wrong, but D-pads on those are pretty good. How dare you? C's better than I thought you would have given it, though. So I salute you.
I suppose so, but so I can't get you to budge away from a top tier S ranking for this controller.
No, absolutely not. I spent my heyday with this controller. I feel like it's extremely comfortable, and I very much like that controller. Yeah, I'm not budging from S on this one. You might be able to talk me out of a couple other
back and forth. Like I was prepared to go up from C a little bit, but there's no way in hell I'm giving this an S ranking.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I knew we were going to disagree quite hardly on this one. So this one I'm not budging on, but you could make me budge on a few of these other ones, I'm sure.
Okay, that's fair. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on this right. Controller.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Moving on. Now, please remember that this list is randomized. There's not any sort of order or coherency to the way in which we are ranking these controllers. It's just how my randomizer spat them out in this order. So next, we are talking about the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Cons, the pack-in controllers with the Switch itself. And I'm giving this controller trash.
All right, we disagree again. I gave it a B. Not spectacular, but it's pretty good.
Damn.
Yeah, I will go on.
These controllers do a lot of very cool things.
Oh yes, they do.
However, their form factor is the most unpleasing thing I have ever held in my hand.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that issue too much personally. I felt like they were pretty comfortable. They're not as comfortable as, like, obviously a a PlayStation controller, but I never minded it. I am willing to drop to a C. I'll give it middle of the road here, but I do it with out glee in my heart. Okay.
The right joy in particular is a chore to try and use.
I don't think it's a chore to use. Yeah, it felt pretty natural to me. I enjoyed it, which we're going to disagree heavily on all Nintendo items guaranteed, so we'll start here. But,
so you said the lowest you could go is C on this?
I'll drop to a C on this. I like them. I do. I will give it middle of the road. I'm not going to drop below that, though, because I don't
Okay, I'll tell you what. The main I was willing to go up to a D.
Okay.
I was willing to go up to a D, but seeing as how that they can be disconnected and placed into that, like, the Joy-Con
the controller
grip
harness
holder,
yeah,
I will agree to a C on this controller.
Okay, we can agree on that. I will drop to a C.
I will agree on a C.
I'll do it.
Yes, I will agree to that C. But
yeah, they're versatile. They do have drift issues, which is why I didn't give it an A.
Or so I'm told. I actually have not experienced anything with drift on my set.
My personal one, I haven't had a drift issue at all, but on the one we had at the apartment, that one drifted like mad.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it does exist.
I've not experienced that.
Yeah. It's the only minor problem I've had with them thus far.
All right, moving along to the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn's original controller.
Yeah, the original
Which, let's be honest with ourselves, is the Genesis 6-button controller. There is fundamentally no difference between these two, besides a slight shape of the controller itself. And I have given it the same ranking of C.
Okay, well, funny story, David. I gave this controller a D.
A D?
It gets a D. Yep.
Even though it is fundamentally, I would say almost identically the same thing as your S-rank
they are
controller.
Very similar to each other shape-wise, yes. The Saturn controller, I don't know if you've ever used one personally, but
I've not actually touched one, no.
Yeah, they feel cheap as fuck. And you know how you think Sega has a squishy D-pad?
Yes.
God help you if you touch this controller. Yeah. And
okay, I had no idea.
Yeah, it takes way too much pressure to push like all the buttons on this thing too. Yeah, I am not a fan of the original Saturn controller. It's definitely D rank at the best. Okay.
I'm completely shocked by that. I'm gonna be honest. I thought there would be no discernible difference between the Genesis 6 and the original Saturn.
That little shape difference is also semi-uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's not a great controller. They did a bad job with that one. I'm giving it a D.
Incredible.
Yep. I'm sure I can talk you into agreeing on a D.
I mean, I'll drop it since I've never used it. I don't know that. I mean, I'll agree to a D if you'd like. Maybe one day I'll get to play with a little bit. But I only ranked mine based on it looking virtual identical to the 6-button controller.
Yeah, they do look very similar. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, they play very differently, and it just feels bad, man. It just feels bad.
Okay, I'll have to take your word on that one. Mm-hmm. But next, one that I think we'll be able to come to an agreement with.
Yeah.
is the Xbox, the original Xbox S controller.
Yeah, the small.
So the original Xbox's redesign, which I have given a C.
Funny story. I also gave it a C. It's very middle of the road. Yeah, we agree.
No convincing necessary.
Yeah, this is just, it's an okay controller. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's got obvious flaws, but it feels
I think
decent.
This definitely started Xbox's, whatever problems the current and even previous Xbox controllers have was all laid out here. Its D-pad is terrible.
Yep.
It's got those weird the black and white buttons were dropped, but they're in a very weird, hard to reach place.
Yeah, they're wonky as fuck. I hate
the little the triggers are those like really thin blade triggers that I'm really glad we've gotten away from.
Yeah, I actually broke my my original one that I got because they were just cheap as fuck.
You broke the triggers broke.
Yeah.
Or the controller broke.
The trigger broke.
The trigger,
like,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, after maybe a year of use, it was just garbage. That
yeah,
they get
and
to
then
see.
even on the S specifically, they've mirrored the start and select buttons, so they're both over on one side where you hold it.
Yeah, it's just such a. There's not like a lot to say that's good about the controller. Like, it feels fine when you're holding it, but there's just so many little things that make it suck compared to the rest of the Xbox controllers.
It's just it laid the groundwork for all the little things that Xbox has a problem with today.
Yeah, and from what I hear, actually, we got the Duke here, and the small version was actually just what they had in Japan, and then they realized everyone hated the Duke, so they were like, "Oh, we should just do that one here then."
Yeah, that is 100% correct.
Because Americans got the big hands, so we need the
big beefy boys.
Fucking controller. We'll get there.
All right. Next. The PlayStation 3's original controller, the 6-axis.
Mm-hmm.
The very first PlayStation 3 controller, which I have given a B.
We agree again, David. I've also given it a B. Yes.
I'm almost willing to bet that we agree for the same reasons.
Probably. Because Go ahead.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I didn't necessarily mind the lack of rumble. Rumble's not really something that I really gave a shit about in my controllers.
It's not important at all.
Holy crap! Without that extra whatever, the extra motors that makes it rumble, boy, was this controller cheap feeling.
Yeah, it just feels really light. It does.
It's so light. I never saw it. I vaguely remember you having a problem with like yours actually cracked in half.
Yeah, mine was 100% snapped in half.
It just felt so light and so unsubstantial. You know, it had all the same features. Nothing changed between it and the DualShock 3. It just felt trashy. Apologies.
That's my main issue with it as well. It felt super cheap compared to what came after it. Like, ridiculously cheap compared to that. So that's like the only issue I had with the controller, though. You know, it's still comfortable. It's still a good controller.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially the DualShock 3. It's just super light and kind of fragile.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's go from PlayStation 3 to the exact opposite end of the spectrum to the Atari 7800 joystick.
Oh boy.
Which I have ranked a little bit cheekily because I've only touched the reproduction like plug and play system.
Yeah.
But still, I have given this controller an A.
Really? Okay.
I have.
Interesting. I gave it a D. Now, mind you, I haven't played the reproduction. I've only used like the original one. So I'm going based off that. In my
Okay,
opinion,
that's pretty low.
yeah, so, like, don't get me wrong, I'll play an Atari game all day, but the Atari joysticks, they're not necessarily unresponsive, they're just clunky. And it bugs me.
See, I thought the of the three like original Atari systems, I thought that the 7800 was kind of the least clunky of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but
I mean,
it still felt clunky.
It's got, I mean, okay, so I don't know how the travel was on the original since I've only played the reproduction plug and play. I thought the travel was fine. It fits nice in the hand. The buttons are ambidextrous instead of being like those really the tiny one, the tiny on one side of the 2600 or the really tiny ones up at the top of the 5200. It just looked, in fact, the original ones look bigger than the reproduction one was. So maybe those ones are just chunkier in the hand. But
they are.
like I said, holding that plug and play model for the games that you're playing on them, I thought it was a great little controller joystick.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm willing to budge on this one because my main gripe with this particular controller is just that I am not a huge fan of joysticks in general. They all feel weird to me.
Oh,
so
okay.
As far as that goes, so I'm willing to bring this up just based on that because it is more of a personal thing for me.
So
anyway,
I don't think I'm able to bring you all the way up to an A.
No, I'd probably jump to like a C on it.
Okay.
Maybe a low
I'll
B.
take a C.
Because like it's a responsive controller. It works fine. It is like it works fine. It just to me feels in the hand, personally speaking. But I'm also not a fan of joysticks in general. So
that could be the original because, like I said, I've only played the plug and play version.
Yeah. So yeah, I can push it up to a C. I'll allow it.
Okay, I'll take a C. That's fine. Up next is a very conscientious controller. I don't think there's a controller on this list that has a more mixed opinion of it.
Yeah.
It is the Steam controller.
Yeah.
Which I have given a hearty B.
Well, funny story, David. I actually also gave it a B just because I have to take it on its merits and not what I think of the idea of making a controller specifically for PC.
Right. And here's the thing. The Steam controller does a lot of things that I love. A lot of things I wish other controllers did.
Okay.
But given for that it is the PC, it is completely hamstrung by the fact that you need to work around everything that you want to do with it.
Yeah, that's
nothing
that's
can just
an issue.
Work. Some things do just work. You know, you can you change your bindings and oh hey, that worked out pretty good. Cool. But most of the time you have to spend so much effort just fiddling with stuff. Which I do. I kind of like that you can fiddle with it, but the act of fiddling with it is kind of irritating.
Yeah, as much as I bitch about this controller's existence, having fiddled with it a little bit and felt it in my hands and gotten to play with it just a little bit, yeah, I'd give it straight up a B. Like it feels fine, you know, and it actually feels pretty good.
'Cause like
I just hate the idea of it.
those grip buttons. And not only grip buttons, because like your Xbox Elite or whatever have grip buttons, but they can only be remapped to a controller button. Grip buttons that can be anything you want. They can be any action. And the dual stage triggers, which will come back. The Steam controller is not the first controller that have dual stage triggers, but they are such a good idea that it pains me that no other controller has taken advantage of that feature.
Never, David. Never.
It's even if a controller didn't have grip buttons, the action of half pull and full pull is such a no-brainer. I cannot believe that the current Xbox Series controllers and the DualSense do not have that ability. It blows my mind.
They ain't worried about that shit, David. They're worried about making it look fancy as fuck.
I guess. I mean, they do look really fancy.
They do.
But
They do.
that is a feature I need in my other controllers. Okay. Another odd controller that I'm fairly certain neither of us have touched, although you may have briefly played with it. The Nintendo Virtual Boy controller.
Yep.
Which I have... Now keep in mind, I've not actually played with this controller. I've given it a B.
Well, fantastic. I have also not used this controller, but based on what I have seen, I have put this directly into the trash can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Okay.
It looks so bad.
So I'm not gonna lie. Having two D-pads feels like having two joysticks for me for the type of games that it's playing. Like I could see it being an okay idea with the analog stick not having really been a thing yet.
I guess that's fair. It just seems so dumb.
The A and B start select does seem a little bit weird, being mirrored, because I could see it accidentally pressing one
right
instead of the other. And actually, the fact that the controller powers the unit is really stupid.
It's absolutely fucking retarded. Yeah, it's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea, guys. Okay.
So I'm not gonna go all the way to trash with it, because I do think it does some interesting things. But I'm willing to drop it pretty far. I'll drop this to a D.
Okay. To be fair, I should have given it an A like I did the other controller, but I've just seen too much of this one.
I'll drop it to a D because it is actually, it looks really rough.
It looks so bad.
Okay. Next is one I can't imagine getting a high score.
No.
It is Rob, the robotic operating buddy for the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
And just based on what I've seen, I'm willing to give it a D.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I put this in the trash. We had this thing when I was growing up.
There's absolutely, like, even for, like, it being an interesting idea isn't enough to redeem it.
If you put it that way, I guess we can give it a D. But this is like the least fucking responsive unit I have ever had the displeasure of using in my life.
Okay.
Oh, God, it is.
But you have actually
nightmare.
used this one.
What's that?
You have actually used this one.
Oh yeah, but actually,
Okay,
I actually guarantee that my dad still has it in the closet at that house, and it'll probably end up here so I can show it to you.
Because this one is way before my time.
Yeah, this you use this to play Gyromite. I don't know if there's other games that it plays, but oh my fucking God, like. It was just impossible to get through the game because anytime you're like, Rob, quick, do the thing. He doesn't do the thing. Or he fucks up and breaks something.
But are you willing to give this a D? Because I've seen this thing in action and like it's kind of cool. It is cool. It is a giant piece of shit. Don't get me wrong.
It is cool. It is cool.
Okay.
Like to this day, I think it's pretty badass. Don't get me wrong. It is just the worst controller on earth, though. Yeah, fine. I'll go up to a D just because it's cool.
Go up to a D. Fair enough. Another one we can slightly agree.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, if we still have this thing, like we could do another episode on you having messed with this thing because
played with it.
This thing is a nightmare. Okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
Moving on to one I'll bet is another contentious decision.
Perhaps.
It is the Wiimote and Nunchuck. which I've decided to bundle, mostly because the nunchuck cannot work by itself.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do much.
And I'm giving this iconic pair, a C.
All right. I also gave it a C, even though I loved the system.
You have got to be shitting me.
No, I gave it a C. See, I told you we'd agree.
Okay, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you something.
I went back to rewrite some of my list because
let me ask you something.
Comparatively to other things, it's a C.
If I were to specifically say the Wii Motion Plus, would it change your ranking?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Okay.
I think one thing is I think because the Wii Motion Plus came too late and not many games really took full advantage of it.
No.
And for what it did, or I'm sorry, for what it promised to do, the Wiimote was just super limited.
Yeah, it didn't have much. Like, it has some things going for it in that, like, the actual controller, when you used it for, like, retro gaming or just, like, as a normal controller, actually felt kind of comfortable. It wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't the greatest controller on earth, like, very middle of the road, you know?
I mean, it was like a stick.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was just holding it.
It felt all right. And then, like, yeah, the motion controls, while fun, they were very limited to what came after them. So, like, I had to downgrade it just because of that.
All right. Honestly, I can't believe that. I thought for sure we'd have a little bit of back and forth on the Wiimote.
No, not in that one, but I guarantee we're coming to some contentious ones.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Up next is one that Tim, I'm sorry to say, I don't think you've touched yet, is the Oculus Touch.
Is that not the one I used at your house?
Were you over here playing something on the Oculus?
Yeah. I played the Rick and Morty game.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, and I almost dropped your controllers because I was too immersed.
You have used it.
I went to put them on the counter in the game and I was like, wait.
I have given the Oculus Touch my first S ranking.
All right. Okay. I gave it an A rank just based on my limited playtime with them. They felt great, so.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, you haven't used it very much. Let me say, to this day, of the virtual reality inputs that I've used, and I haven't used all of them, I've only messed with a couple, the Oculus Touch, that design just hit it out of the park. I can't believe it was Oculus's first go.
Yeah, it feels amazing. Like, I literally got so immersed in my little bit of playtime that I had with it that I was getting done playing the game and I walked over, I did the little teleport over to the fucking counter and was going to set the controllers on the counter in the game. And I was like, wait a minute. So good.
Just the way, even the later redesigns with like the Quest's inside out tracking where the ring goes above the controller, just having it so that your hands are inside the track ring and just how they sit and how you hold this thing. I'm holding it right now. How you hold this thing. It's nowhere near as advanced as another controller that we're gonna have on the list. But for a first attempt for virtual reality, which, let's be honest, is still super new in the gaming space,
but cool.
I can't believe how good of a job they did with these controllers.
Yeah, I'll second that. They did an excellent job, and I am impressed just with the limited amount of time I've been able to spend with them.
So can I bump you to an S? Or are you sticking with A due to your lack of experience?
Well, I mean, I know if I had it, I would give it an S rank. That's the thing.
Okay.
So I'll bump it to an S just because I know had I actually owned this, I would have given it an S rank. So we'll say it.
Nice. Okay. Up next is the original, the OG Xbox, quote unquote, Duke controller.
Yeah. Which,
fittingly enough, I have given a D.
Yep. I also gave this controller a D. I was going to put it in the trash, but I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. It's just terrible.
It's not. It's not that bad. It has all of the same problems as the Xbox S, and it's an unwieldy monster.
Yeah, and the joysticks are fucking garbage.
See, that's actually something I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew that
the joysticks
D-pad
are
was also
terrible.
trash.
Yep,
I had no idea the joysticks were also garbage.
They're cheap. They're like those joysticks where if you use them too much, they're just gonna wear down to a nub, and they're fucking useless after that point.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot wrong with this controller, and then outside the fact that it's just very unwieldy.
It's fucking huge. And it does that, well, I mean, I guess they didn't really know any better because it was Microsoft's first controller, but it does that weird thing where the memory cards go in the controller. I always thought that was weird. I never understood that.
I love it in certain regards, because like I really enjoyed it for Dreamcast, for instance, because they did all the little extra things with it, which was super cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Dreamcast can do things with the controller card.
So
this is the Xbox's ones were literally just a memory card.
Yeah, so I guess that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, I'm telling you, the degree to which we are agreeing on a lot of these is shocking, given our histories.
Well, don't worry, we're getting there.
Up next is a controller I have not touched. It is the GunCon.
Fuck yes.
that Tim has asked to be added into this list.
That's right. And fittingly, it gets an S tier. Okay. This is
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
In the grand scheme, though, because this thing is a light gun.
It is.
So it was your Nintendo Zapper, it was your Sega Genesis, whatever that thing was called. I don't remember. Super Scope, whatever.
Yeah.
Other than it being a light gun, does it do anything to differentiate itself from those other light guns?
Aside from responsiveness, I would say no. It's got, a start and a select button. And depending on your model, some of them have a dedicated reload button as well, which is pretty sweet.
And that is pretty cool.
That's really cool. Like the one that comes with Time Crisis has a dedicated reload button. Okay. And that was badass as fuck, because then you don't have to shoot off the screen. You just press the reload button, and then you shoot motherfuckers in the face. I would say, personally, out of every light gun, and I'm a fan of light guns, don't get me wrong, out of every light gun that I have personally owned, which is quite a few, this one is like the best overall. Not only is it responsive to your controls and your commands, but also it did not have any like drift issues, we'll say. Like it shot where you shot, which is super cool.
Every time.
Like every fucking time. Like I'm telling you. I don't know if it's just because this thing was new out the box, but I used it like forever. So like it absolutely, wherever you are aiming is where it will fucking shoot. And it was just a great light gun. Like if we're doing light guns as a unit, I would probably give them like a C. But if we're just talking about the GunCon, S tier all the way.
Nice. Okay, I have in my notes here, defer to Tim. So I am also technically giving this an S.
Okay.
Because I have no idea. I've never used this particular light gun, and I have no idea what it was used for. But yeah, I'll take your answer for it.
Mostly Time Crisis for me, but there was some other games that used it as well.
Okay. Up next, a late edition, because I forgot it existed. The Wii U's Pro controller.
Yes.
That I have given a B.
Where in the hell is that on my list? Oh, you said the Wii U Pro controller.
The Pro controller.
Oh.
The Wii U's Pro controller.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing the Pro controller for the Switch. Yeah, I would give that a B as well. I don't even have that on my list, but I give it a B.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, I forgot it existed. The poor Wii. Just the way it's set up, it looks fine. It kind of does the inverse of the PlayStation, where the analog sticks are on top instead of underneath.
Yep.
but just the way that it looks without having used it, it looks fine.
Yeah, it's
And
it's not
it has
bad.
those. It has those like blade triggers instead of the paddle triggers that I feel like we should have gotten away from by then. But it looks fine. Yeah,
It's fair.
it looks
Yeah,
absolutely fine.
it's nothing to write home about. It's better than above average. I'm sorry, it's better than middle of the road is what I meant. In my opinion, it's a very good controller. It's just not gonna get an A ever.
Right. The next controller, however, and I don't want to hype it up too much, I think might be the best of this series of controllers, is the Xbox One
Mm-hmm.
controller, which I'm giving a B.
Oh, look at you. I actually, and you are 100% correct. This is the best Xbox controller. 100%. I gave it an A.
I kind of figured you would. Okay, so let's everything being equal on the Xbox controllers.
Mhm.
I have no idea why they stopped making this D-pad. This D-pad is the best D-pad Xbox has ever done.
100%. Yep.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. They
The
did a
only
lot.
reason why I didn't give this an A
Mhm.
is because it has the same problem for me
Okay.
every single Xbox controller has had that have them. So like the Xbox 360 on,
Yeah.
is that the bumper buttons, left and right bumper,
Mhm.
they're just too high up.
Okay.
They're kind of like, if you're holding the controller, they're a bit of a pain to hit.
Okay. You have swayed me. I will drop this to a B. You are correct. I actually think this is actually the reason why they started making those weird bumper triggers that you can buy that like make the response time faster. I'm pretty sure these controllers are
you
the
can, like,
reason for that.
You can clip on it and have it be underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
can see that.
Yeah.
For
I'm
whatever,
pretty
I don't know
sure.
what it is about Xbox, but they refuse to improve the bumpers.
Yeah. Yeah, you can drag me down to a B. Also, I like lowering Xbox's score, so you can you can drag me
Yes.
down to a B on this one.
I will. I'm not gonna lie. I'll make the Xbox a punching bag if you want. That's
Yeah,
perfectly
that
fine.
D-pad was 100% the reason they got the A though. Like the controller feels great,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but that D-pad
It does. The most of the rest of the controller, its face buttons are mostly the same. Its sticks feel really good. The triggers are great on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that D-pad was such an improvement. I have no idea why they backpedaled.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Okay. Next up, a controller that needs no introduction. Mostly because it was one of my first. The DualShock 3,
Oh yeah.
which I have given an A.
Okay. Okay. I also gave this one a B.
Really?
I did. So I was trying to not be too generous to PlayStation because I'm a fanboy.
Total fanboy
So,
up here.
I lowered this one's score just because of how much more I like a particular other controller, but I'm willing to bring it up to an A, obviously, because this is one of my favorites in the PlayStation.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. The PlayStation 3, or I'm sorry, the DualShock 3 was the final form of that original PlayStation controller.
Yep.
Everything on it was pretty much perfect. The sticks felt great. They had, they increased the travel distance from the PlayStation 2, gave you more travel on the stick. Felt
Yep.
great. The face buttons are the same as they've always been. They're all right where you need them. That segmented D-pad. Holy cow. I absolutely love that D-pad. Being all separate buttons.
Yeah, that's really
Phenomenal.
good.
The only reason why I can't give this controller an S is the triggers are mushy as shit. And as much as I do like having a gyro on a controller, this one was not very good.
Fair enough.
The DualShock 3's gyro, I don't know if the technology wasn't there at the time or they cheaped out on it. It kind of sucks.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, I don't really have any complaints about this controller, so I'm 100% going to give it an A. I just lowered its score because how good the PlayStation scores were overall. so it gets an A. It gets an A. 100%.
It's an absolute A controller.
It's one of my favorites.
It's great. To this day, just that whole family of controllers is phenomenal. Speaking of which, up next, the original first generation PlayStation controller.
Yep.
Which I have given a B.
I gave it a C.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing.
This one I actually felt deserved to see. Okay.
Look, here's the thing. I get, in hindsight, it's probably a C controller.
Yeah.
But at the time when this thing came out, you know, when the PlayStation first launched, when this controller was packed in with it, it was pretty much perfect.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. At the time, like, it was nice. It was nice. Don't get me wrong. I had a couple S-tier controllers at home at the time, so, you know.
Oh, I see.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, if PlayStation had, like, you know, if they had never revolutionized the controller game as they did, in my opinion, you know, you could say Xbox did it. I think PlayStation did it. Had they never, like, gone beyond to the DualShocks, I would probably be saying it's an S tier, but now I know how much better they can be.
Ooh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is, oh man, okay. I don't know if it's fair enough to drop me a whole letter.
it's you know, I understand.
Because like the PlayStation controller still, even without having the sticks attached to it, man, is it good.
It's a comfortable controller.
It's a great controller.
Yeah, and like the
Especially
D-pad's not terrible. It's a little bit on the squishy side. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual like face buttons though are nice as fuck.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, oh shit. I gotta stay with a B. If you're gonna give it a C, that's fine. But I have to stay with B for it.
I'm gonna give it a C just to placate the people who are gonna call me a PlayStation fanboy. Just because I feel like knowing where they went, they could have, or like had they never gone there, it would be an S tier. But now I know how much better they can do, and like just because of that, I have to give it a C.
You dropped a bit. You're retroactively docking them a point.
Yes, just because.
Okay, I can see it. Okay. Up next.
All right, here
Are
we
you ready,
go.
Tim?
Yep.
Crack. Crack my fingers here. The Nintendo 64 controller, which Tim knows I have given
Yep.
trash.
Oh yeah, I knew that was coming. This one obviously it's not an S tier for me. It's not. Don't get me wrong. I did give it an A though.
An A?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh yeah.
You're killing me.
No, it's great.
Okay, look, here's the thing. This controller commits the cardinal sin of controllers.
Okay, please enlighten me.
In that, you cannot access all of the controls at once.
I mean, that is a fair complaint, but having played the N64 for quite a long time, it is a extremely rare scenario that any game is going to require you to have to do that. In general, you're going to hold the controller in a specific manner depending on what game you're playing, so that you can access the buttons that particular game makes you use the best. And that's one of the things I always found interesting about this particular controller, is that you can hold it in like 700 different ways. and be able to customize it to how you need to work it to play whatever game you're playing. And I always thought that was cool, and I always found the controller comfortable. I will say that the middle joystick is a piece of fucking shit. It is.
It is. Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Yeah, that thing is absolute trash. But it's a responsive controller, and it's like extremely comfortable in my opinion. You know,
It's a very spindly little thing.
yeah, that joystick is trash. Like I won't even argue with that. That joystick's terrible. Okay. Just for you, David, I'll bring it down to a B just because the joystick is trash. Okay.
So I can't get you come all the way down to trash.
You're not
because
going to
it's-
get me to trash on this controller. You're not. But I'll
That's
bring it down
fair.
to a D, just because we can agree it
suppose that's
has issues. But I always loved it. I can't
It
I can't
has
fault it too
a
much.
lot of issues.
Like I think if you played more N64 games, you would probably gather what I'm putting down a little bit better. You still might
Maybe.
not like it, but you would understand more how people use the controller.
Yeah, maybe because the only N64 experience I have is going to the dentist as a child. He had an N64 to play in the waiting room,
Yeah.
and I played a lot of Yoshi's Island. That's really like my only
Oh, okay.
N64 experience.
Yeah. It's one of the ones that required you to use the D-pad, or not the D-pad, the joystick, I believe, right?
That's how I played it. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like required. There was no instructions at the time.
Okay. It's been a long time since I played that one. Like, I played all kinds of games on that, but obviously, depending on the game, some of them were, a little more unwieldy depending on whether or not they followed that formula of hold the controller this way and use these buttons.
I see. Okay, well, moving on to one we can basically just skip over, the PlayStation Move's navigation controller, which gets a big old fat D from me.
Okay. I mean, wait, have I ever even used the navigation controller? I don't think I have. I don't think I have.
Not at all.
I don't think I've ever used it. Now that I think about
Look,
it.
here's the thing about the navigation controller. It is pretty much pointless.
Okay.
Because anything it does, you can just do by holding a dual shock in your hand while using the move.
Well, that sounds awful, though.
So, yeah, it's unbalanced and it's a little bit unwieldy, but you can do it, which
Okay.
is why I didn't put it in the trash category and I only gave it a D.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to agree just because that sounds absolutely useless.
Yeah, it is. The navigation controller was very much an afterthought.
Yeah, I don't even think I own
In
one
that
of those,
system.
and I have 4 move controllers.
I'll bring it over next time,
Yeah,
and you can just hold it real quick and be like, "Yep, that's a D."
just check it out. Yeah.
All right, so up next, press F's in chat, boys, because this is the Sega Dreamcast controller.
Yep.
Which I am giving a B.
All right, I agreed. I also gave it a
Okay.
B. Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, it's not. It's just kind of okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Like I won't drop it to a C just because like all of the things it does well. But like
Really?
the
I mean-
actual controller is a little bit unwieldy, and I fucking, oh god. Like I realize there's other controllers on this list that also do this, and like I haven't mentioned this yet. I fucking hate it when they put the cord on the bottom of the fucking controller. I hate that so much.
No, at least in the controllers we're taking a look at today, I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast is unique in that feature.
Okay. Yeah, I know one of the Wii ones, or maybe it was the Wii U. Might have been the Wii U classic remote that had that, now that I'm thinking about it. And I don't think we have that on the list.
Oh, okay.
But I hate when they do that. But yeah, I mean, like not only was the controller itself, it's a pretty comfortable controller for the most part. I would say it's above average on the comfort level. They also had the virtual memory units, which had their own
Those were
little
cool.
games. Those were cool as
Yep.
fuck.
Was not a fan of the hard plastic analog stick. That kind of sucked.
Yep, that's trash. Yep, that's one of the reasons I did not give it an A, because the
But
analog stick is trash.
yeah, other than that, I mean, triggers were okay
Yep.
for being one of the first controllers with triggers.
D-pads
was
are nice.
fine. Face buttons
Yeah.
were
Mhm.
right where they needed to be.
Yeah,
A solid B
yep, I
controller.
agree 100%. Just above average.
Just, it was fine. Okay. Next.
Yeah, this is an
Another-
interesting one.
Inclusion asked of Tim. Just any system's arcade stick.
Yeah.
For, I'm assuming, fighting games.
For fighting games, yes. Okay.
Okay. I just gave this a D.
Okay. I mean, that's fair, because I know you're not a huge fan of, like, arcade stuff to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, just, it's too big. Of all the pictures I found of these things, they're just so fucking
Yeah,
big.
they're usually massive. They're like, you put them on your lap and you run them that way generally. So depending on, this is a weird one for me, because I have used some that belong in the trash, and I have used some that I would give an A. Never an S rank ever, but there's
Okay.
some I would give an A. So my range on this one is A2 trash. Just because some of them are absolute fucking garbage. I'm a huge fan of fucking arcade sticks, though. Don't get me wrong. You know, I realize I said, oh, I hate joysticks. It's not the same. Okay. It's not the same. It is not the same. But if you're into fighting games at all, arcade sticks are for you. And if you're not, they are not for you, and you're going to put them either D or trash. Guaranteed. Yes.
Okay.
But everyone
so
else...
what are you giving your final rating on that one?
So, overall, I'm going to give it a B. Just because the majority
Okay.
of the ones I have played with are pretty damn good. But there's a couple that were just unresponsive fucking trash. Yeah.
I'll come up a little bit, seeing as how I have not used really any of these. I'll come up a little bit on a C
Okay.
for you.
Fair
I'll
enough.
meet you a little bit in the middle. But yeah,
We'll
they're
go
just
with it.
the idea of using something that large is just silly
Yeah.
to me.
I understand completely. I get it.
Okay. Up next, a controller that I'm gonna dog on for quite a while here,
Okay.
despite giving it a B.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I actually gave this a C.
Really?
Yep.
I will immediately come down
Yeah.
to meet you. Yeah. Okay, so talking earlier about the Steam controller, the GameCube controller
Mhm.
is the one that actually had two-stage triggers, which I
Yep.
think is a phenomenal idea.
Yep.
It absolutely deserves all of the praise for that. However, every other feature about this controller is kind of lame.
Yeah. I have to say, this is quite possibly my least favorite Nintendo controller. I don't hate it.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, but
Like
I think it is my
holding it
least favorite.
feels pretty good. The grip on it is kind of nice.
Yeah, it feels nice, but like I absolutely fucking hate the face buttons. I don't like them.
The face buttons are weird. That afterthought Z button is stupid as all hell.
Yeah, like there's just so many problems with the layout of the controller.
The D-pad is tiny.
Yep. Like, yeah,
And-
the triggers are great. The hold is great. That's it.
My number one pet peeve: the analog sticks are gated.
Oh, okay.
I hate that.
I got you.
Hate it.
That doesn't bug me as much, but I also hate the fact that the analog sticks are fucking plasticky stab your finger things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
So yeah, that
And
drives me crazy too.
The C stick, like the analog part is bigger than the part you touch. It's just this little nipple
Yeah.
that you like twiddle around. I don't know what the hell they were thinking of with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, this is definitely my least favorite Nintendo controller, though. 100%.
All
Yeah,
right,
we
a C
agree.
controller then.
I'm sure you
We
expected
agree.
a fight there. It's not coming.
I thought you were gonna hold it in a little bit higher regard
No.
than a C.
No, I held it in less high regard than you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I mean, I dropped it. You don't got to tell me twice. Okay. Continuing on with the Nintendo theme we've got going on here, the Wii Classic controller,
Yes.
which you were correct, does have the wire coming out of the bottom of it.
Okay, yeah, it is on the list. All right.
It is on the list, and I slapped it with a D.
All right. I actually gave this a B.
Really,
Yeah,
an entire B.
I gave it a B. Yeah, you could probably talk me down to a C on it, though. Go ahead. Try.
I think, okay, so here's the thing. D-pad, fine.
Mhm.
Phase buttons, fine.
Yep.
Analog sticks are gated. I get that's
Yep.
a hang-up of mine.
Yeah.
But here's why I gave it a D. Those stupid fucking, like, interior shoulder buttons
Okay.
are the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
either
those
have
are
them
not great.
like above and below, or just have one shoulder button on each side. Those
Yeah.
little, like, they got the big buttons on the outside, and then you have to reach inside to tap the left and right 2 buttons.
Yeah.
No, go fuck yourself.
Okay, yeah, you got a point there. And you have managed to talk me down to a C with that.
I figured I would.
Yeah, cuz like it's not a great controller, don't get me wrong. It's not great. I think it's comfortable, but that is definitely an issue I hadn't thought about because I haven't used it in such a long time. And then also the wire in the bottom pisses me off, as you know. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So all of the things that Tim doesn't like about this, plus gated analog sticks, is why I give it a D.
Okay, yeah. I'll stick
we're
with
almost
the C
there.
on this one.
We're almost there. We're almost seeing eye to eye on that
Yes.
one. Next up. Oh, Tim, next up. The DualShock 2.
The DualShock 2.
Holy cow. I'm giving this one an A.
Okay. I gave this one a B.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Why?
Pretty much the same reason I gave the original PlayStation controller a C. It's not the top tier of DualShock. It's not.
Okay, so it's retroactively a B.
Yeah. Like overall, like in real life, if it wasn't being compared to other members of the DualShock family, I would probably give it an A. Yeah, probably a strong A.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the DualShock, right?
Yeah.
It's just black to match the PlayStation 2.
Right.
But
That's what drags you.
no, what drags it down for me, because I this is like a top tier controller, but what drags it down for me is Sony added pressure sensitive face buttons, and like, who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
Like, they thought that was going to be the next big thing.
I'm
and
sure
it's just
they
really
did.
fucking stupid.
I've always liked pressure sensitive buttons personally. I like the idea because it adds a little more mechanic to your game depending on whether or not your game works properly with it.
Right. And I think of all of the stuff that I played on the PlayStation 2, there's only one game I personally played that used those pressure sensitive buttons, and it was Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
Your
the
favorite.
only game I can think of that used them, and like, what a wasted feature.
That's fair. And then you said you gave this a B? You gave it an A.
I gave this an A.
Okay. Yeah.
I gave this an A for useless features.
Okay. I'm going to stick with a B on this one just because I have to hold strong. I have to hold strong to my rating system.
That's fair.
I did downgrade this one right before we started from an A though. So just so you know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair. I'll take it. It's okay. Next up, another PlayStation controller. This is the PlayStation Move.
Yeah.
Which I'm giving a B.
I also gave this a B.
Kind of thought you would, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up from the Wii, but not like insanely.
Yeah, it's, it does a little bit more. It's certainly more accurate.
Yeah.
But I think definitely with it being, an add-on, it's an afterthought. Not a lot of people took advantage of it for what it could do.
Yeah,
However,
think it would have been cooler if there was more games for it.
Yeah, but we did get Start the Party.
Oh yeah, we did.
So that is an automatic win in my book.
Yeah, that's like, if you're a C rank, that's going to automatically take you to B.
Yeah, that's a whole letter grade improvement for being able to play Start the Party right there.
Yeah, and the Sports Champions was fucking amazing as well. I love that game.
Oh god, you're right. Sports Champions was really good. The disc golf is the best disc golf game I've ever played.
Oh, it is. It's so fucking good.
And that includes a couple VR disc golf games I've played.
Yeah, it's so good. And I wish there was more stuff on that level for it, and I actually might have bumped this up to an A, even though that's more the merit of the game. But
yeah, than the controller. No, you're absolutely right.
Because the controller itself, it's super good at what it does. It's just not much uses it, so I can't be oh, it's great in these situations as opposed to these situations, because everything basically uses it the same.
Yeah.
Even
I think the stuff it could have excelled at, the games that used it differently that could have been really good didn't use it as well. Like Resistance 3 used it as kind of a light gun.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was always a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done it better.
It's kind of cool that they tried it though.
Yeah, it is. And the dedicated Move game I have called The Shoot is actually really good.
Oh yeah. I remember.
There's very little lag. If they had just used it like that in Resistance 3, I think it could have elevated it a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's borderline A territory, but it gets a B.
Yeah. It's almost there. It's a solid B controller, but if we had more examples to use it in, I do think it could have also been an A.
Yeah.
Okay, up next, another controller neither of us have laid hands on.
Or have I?
Oh, have you?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I wish.
It is Valve's Index controller. VR. I'm giving this an A, having not used it.
Yep.
Just because from what I've seen of the kind of individual finger tracking, that's next gen.
Yeah. It's almost getting to the point where we can make my ridiculously realistic game that everyone would hate. We're getting there.
Right.
Okay.
So it's almost time. Maybe the PlayStation 6 will be able to do it.
Yeah, so soon we will have the best-selling game that no one likes. It's going to be amazing.
Tim's dream come true.
Yeah. I gave this an A because I haven't played it or used it.
Yeah, I've also not played it. But yeah, just what I've seen it, the stuff that Valve has made specifically to show it off, and then even in Boneworks, because Boneworks supports the Index natively to do finger tracking.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. It looks absolutely what VR needs right now. Okay. Again, the exact opposite end of the spectrum from the Index controller. the Sega Master System.
Yeah, that's an oldie. Whew.
Oh man. Again, I've never given this controller has never even touched my hand. But I'm giving it a C.
Yeah. I also put this one in the trash.
Really?
Yeah. In my humble opinion, that's not so humble, I think the Master System might actually be Sega's worst controller ever.
Goodness.
It is absolutely. It has all the same problems I talked about with you with the Saturn controller, but they're multiplied by like 10,000 because it feels cheap. The D-pad, oh my god, it's so fucking squishy. Oh, I hate it. And then, like, the response on the fucking buttons is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. No, this trash can controller, 100%. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna agree with you because I've never used it, so I was just going off of how it looks.
Yeah, it's another one that kind of looks like the Sega, right? But it's just bad.
If it's truly that bad, we can agree on a trash level controller.
Yeah, it's bad. One day we'll have one, and we'll let you touch it and feel it up, and you can decide for yourself.
So two things that stand out to me real quick is the wire out of the side of it is kind of dumb. That's where you hold the thing,
right?
And the square D-pad. Now that you've mentioned it, the D-pad being that rounded square does kind of seem like it would be uncomfortable.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
Okay.
It's bad.
Right. Well, so I'll have to agree with you on that one just because I don't even want to
remember it.
But next, a controller I know we have both touched and caressed and loved.
Yeah.
It is the DualShock 4.
Oh. Yeah.
Which can be nothing less than an S tier controller.
Oh, 100%. I actually gave this a triple S.
Okay, well, if triple S was something we were doing, I would.
That's why I had to downgrade all my other PlayStation choices because it's only an S now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Holy cow. I mean, talk about just refinement.
Yeah.
In this controller. It is so good.
Yeah. This is where the DualShock went, and I'm so proud. Okay. Oh man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as I love like the idea of dual stage triggers, if your triggers aren't dual stage, I see absolutely no reason for them to be analog.
Fair enough.
However, this tiny little scoop that are on the L and R2 triggers on the DualShock 4, man, do they feel good.
Yeah, it's the most comfortable controller I've ever picked up. Bar none.
The L and R1 are phenomenal.
Yep.
The joysticks feel great. Still got that segmented D-pad.
The only tick I have against the controller is every once in a while I accidentally touch the middle part and like open whatever that opens in the game.
I was gonna say the middle pad does feel a little superfluous. I mean, it's just basically an extra button that people use it for in games. But yeah, I mean it's pretty much perfection.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect.
I mean, I knew Tim was gonna say it's perfection because he's a total Sony fanboy.
That's
but
right.
Even for myself, who mostly does PC stuff, man, what a great fucking controller!
Yeah, it is the perfect beast. And if the DualSense can even come close to it, I'll be happy, man. Okay.
I say not much has really changed. It's a bit chunkier, and it has some extra internal features, but basically the same thing. Okay, up next, we go back to the controller that started it all.
Yep.
The original DualShock.
Woo!
Which I have had no choice but to also give an S ranking.
Okay, we disagree on this one. Okay.
Ooh. When you were talking about the other ones, dropping them because of what could have been, I knew this one wasn't going to be an S from you.
Yeah, this one's a C.
A C?
Yep, I gave it a C. Yeah.
I can't let this slide, Tim. You have to bump that up.
The DualShock 2 is better than the DualShock 1, right? We gave that an A. We gave that a B. I'm sorry. Okay. And the DualShock 3 is better than that one, right? So that one got...
Tim, this controller changed how controllers are made.
I don't disagree with that, but overall, like, the DualShock 1 has all the fine features of your DualShock controller, but it's less comfortable, right? Because it's more blocky, and it's got hard edges, so it's less comfortable in the hand.
Yes,
in my opinion.
You have to give this a B just because I'm asking. I cannot let this controller
I'll give it a
sit.
B just because you're asking. Okay.
I cannot let the DualShock 1 sit at a C level. It is disgusting.
Yeah,
It leaves a bad
understand
taste
where
in my
you're
mouth.
coming from. I do. I understand where you're coming from with it being, the
Oh my
progenitor
goodness.
of my baby. It is the father of my child. But or I guess the great grandfather in this case. But it's just not as good. It's not.
My goodness, the disrespect. And you call yourself a Sony fanboy.
Okay. I was trying to be fair. Okay.
Because all right. I guess
we all knew if this list was just, we only get one S rank, that DualShock 4 was going on that S, and I wasn't budging.
Yeah. I would feel the same way. If we were only allowed one S, I'd be right there with you.
Yeah. But I'll give it a B just for you. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yes. I actually did not downgrade this one's score.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
Okay.
Next, I think it's a controller we can both dog on to take our frustrations out.
Yeah, we can.
The Atari 5200 joystick.
Yep.
Which belongs solidly in the trash.
Yeah, 100% agreed. This is, by far, the worst Atari controller ever made. By far. I don't think you're going to find anyone who disagrees with that. I do not. I am hard-pressed to believe they exist. It is just clunky as all hell, and it does not feel good in the hand at all. It is just bulky and fucking terrible.
It shares a similarity with a couple of other trash controllers that I've ranked, and it's just wholly unnecessary. If your controller includes this specific feature, which we'll talk about later when we get to it, it's just automatic trash.
Okay.
At least it should be. It should just be automatically trash.
That's fair. I guess we'll see if that holds up.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, because the other one I have as trash is almost the exact same thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
fair enough.
Up next, the Xbox Series controller. That's both Series X and Series S, because it's the new generation Xbox controller. They're just different colors, which I have given a B.
Okay. Having looked at them, I haven't actually touched them. I would probably agree with you, because they look like they're not as cool as the Xbox One controllers. I haven't touched them yet, though, so I gave them an NA.
They went... Oh, you didn't do this one. Okay. They went to that weird, like, waffle D-pad that the Elite controller had, and I'm not sold.
I mean, people
especially
people
after the
it's
Xbox
amazing.
One controller's D-pad was just so clean.
Yeah, like the Xbox One is their best controller. I'm sorry, everyone's like, oh no, the
hands
Elite.
down.
Yeah. Guess what?
I can't disagree with that.
The Elite goes in the trash just because of the price. Fuck the Elite. All right,
And it's
I don't care how comfortable it is.
it does that thing where it has like grip buttons, but you can only reassign them to face buttons, and that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's really fucking dumb. So there's another issue with it right there, besides its ridiculous price tag.
Yeah. Plus, it's an Xbox controller, so I'm sure the bumpers are kind of trash.
Probably. So there you go. So
there it goes. Solid,
the Elite
solid B
isn't
for
even
me.
on this list. Solid D or trash. Okay.
For being too expensive and stupid.
That's right. I don't care how comfortable it is.
But so you did not rank the series controller?
No, because I haven't used it. But if I was to rank it based off just what I've seen, I would give it a B. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Because I already know the shortcomings it's going to have just based on the Xbox One controller, and I'm sure they didn't fix it. So there you go.
All right. Next up, the Wii Classic Pro controller.
Yes.
Which I didn't know existed until we started making this list. I didn't realize this was a thing. So imagine if you took the Wii Classic controller and fixed everything about it except the analog sticks.
Yeah.
And that's your Classic Pro.
Yeah.
So I'm giving this one a solid B.
Yep. That's same. I gave it a B. It's not terrible. It's a decent controller. It kind of reminds me of the GameCube controller in a way, but it's not wonky and dumb.
I mean, at least it has grips, and at least the shoulder buttons are stacked.
Yeah, like it just feels so much better. It feels so much fucking better. Yeah, it's a
like
better controller.
Like we said before, or I guess like I said before, gated analog sticks. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm gonna have to dock it points.
Yeah, we agree though. That's a solid B, like 100%.
Solid B controller.
Not any worse.
Another one.
Not any better.
Another controller, which I'm pretty sure we're going to agree on.
Mm-hmm.
The Nintendo Switch Pro controller.
Yes.
Which is an S.
Yep. S rank all the fucking way.
Holy, what? This controller just feels great.
Yep.
I can't make any complaints about this controller.
It harkens back to the olden days of Nintendo when they could do no wrong. It really does.
Everything about it. And it not only that, but it packs every single feature of the Joy-Cons into it.
Yep.
On top of being a fantastic controller.
Yeah. So like it's just great.
Except maybe the IR camera. I'm not actually sure if it has that in there.
Okay. Either way.
Every other feature, holy cow.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal controller.
If you own a Switch and you have not bought this controller, get this controller. You will not be disappointed. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Especially if you hate your Joy-Cons.
I had a couple of... yeah. I had a couple of, I actually hated playing Splatoon on the Switch because of the Joy-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I got this Pro controller, it's like day and night. It just changed the game for me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would probably feel that way because, there is a lot of hate towards Joy-Cons. I fully understand that. But if you get the Pro controller, you're going to fucking love your Switch. Okay.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. It changes everything.
Yeah. Mine was a gift. I wasn't even going to buy one. I got it for Christmas.
Shit.
And I didn't even ask for it. And I was so happy. Okay.
Life changing.
Yes.
Okay. Kind of feel like we might disagree on this one a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, based on your reaction to the 6 button, we might.
The original Sega Genesis controller, the 3 button, if you are unaware, of which I have given a B.
Okay. I gave mine, believe it or not, David, a B.
Really?
Yeah, we agree on this one.
I thought for sure maybe not necessarily an S, but I thought for sure this would have been a just childhood favorite of yours.
It is. Don't get me wrong. It is. But as soon as I got that 6-button controller, didn't want to touch that 3-button controller.
Oh, right. I forgot the 6-button controller.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong. Like, the 3-button, I think it's a very comfortable controller. I enjoy it. I think it's responsive. It's... I personally feel like the D-pad on it is okay. It's not the best D-pad, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like it's as squishy as some other D-pads I've used. And, like, the button placement's nice.
Though.
Yeah. The button placement's nice, so I can't fault it.
I can't complain about the buttons, even though nowadays it is kind of weird having 3 buttons in a line.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I can't fault them too much.
Yeah.
Can't fault them too much for it, though.
Back in the day, it felt right, okay?
Yeah. All right, well, shocking. I'll eat my words on that one since we agreed.
Okay.
Up next, another VR controller, which I know for a fact neither of us have touched.
Yep.
The Vive Wand.
Yes.
Which I am giving a solid a D.
Oh, okay. Is it that bad looking?
It's a stick with a loop on it. Like, it doesn't even have any real buttons.
Oh. That's the Vive controller?
Yeah, the Vive Wand.
But the Vive looked so cool.
Yeah, well, I'm sure back in the day it did, but now we have the Oculus Touch and the Index controllers. And this,
interesting. Man,
if anything felt like a first draft, this feels like a first draft.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I never bought that. Okay. I would have bought the Oculus anyway, just based on recommendations, but I never really looked too much into this. I just always assumed that it was a better hardware. Everyone made it sound like it was better hardware.
I mean, the headset and the lighthouse tracking is definitely above and beyond what Oculus was doing.
Okay.
But man, those controllers are just a hindrance.
Okay. Fair enough. I rated this one NA as well because I haven't touched it.
Okay. I'll say, like I said, this is based on just what I've seen, how they look. I've not actually held these. But yeah, I'm not getting good vibes from this first generation controller. All right. We're almost at the end, actually. We've only got a few controllers left to go.
Getting close.
And up next is the controller that a lot of people say changed everything. I'm not convinced.
We're, of course, talking about the DualShock 1. I'm just playing.
Shut up, Tim. We already did that one and you disappointed me.
Okay.
No, this is the Xbox 360 controller, which I have granted a C.
And we agree again. Holy fuck. Yeah, see.
I'm actually less shocked about this one. Okay. Because don't get me wrong, this controller standardized PC inputs, right?
Yeah.
And that's phenomenal for the market.
Yeah.
But for the controller itself, it has those skinny little blade triggers. It's got those high, like really high, hard to reach bumpers. The D-pad is complete garbage.
It's just bad.
Analog sticks, sure. Great, fine. It has great analog sticks. It's not enough to forgive it for its other shortcomings.
No, it is a complete misstep, but the misstep that led to the Xbox One controller. So
yeah, it's true.
I can't fault it too much.
They thought, hey, look at what we messed up. Let's fix it. And they mostly did a good job.
Yeah, they did okay. It's a huge step up from the original Xbox controller, but it still kind of sucks. Okay.
It does. It sucks a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
I had one of these for the longest time hooked up to my computer, and boy was I glad when, Xbox One and the Steam controller and I can hook up my DualShock to the PC. Everything was better than it.
Yeah, I use I use the DualShock for just about everything now. I did have an Xbox One controller for a short period of time, but not too long.
I use if a controller or if a game has controller support, I'll generally use the Steam controller. But man, I love the fact that I can use the DualShock 4 for retro gaming. It's so good.
Yes, that's the best controller to use for retro gaming. But then again,
It is the best controller.
that Switch Pro controller though is also very good for that.
It is also pretty nice, and it'll hook up to the PC from Steam input. So fuck yes.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of retro gaming,
Yes.
probably the granddaddy of retro gaming, the Super Nintendo controller.
Oh boy.
Ooh, goodness. I have bestowed the rank of A upon this
Okay.
controller.
Okay. This one is another S for me, but I am just shocked that you actually gave it an A.
This, look, I cannot tell a lie. This controller, even for if you were to play like an emulation or whatever, and you could hook this up to your controller,
Yeah.
the only point that I could really dock from it is that it's just a flat piece of plastic. There's no grip.
Yeah.
There's no grip on this controller.
That's fair. The step
But
up for me.
Everything else about it is it's great.
Yeah.
It, like before
damn near perfect.
before the invention of the before the analog sticks invention, this was the controller.
Yeah. 100%. Like nothing compared to this before analog became a thing. Like, before 3D gaming was big, this was the big boy, and I will plant my flag right fucking there. It's a super comfortable controller, even though it is just hard plastic. They rounded the edges, okay?
Yeah, they did.
That was
They learned that
important.
lesson.
That is a big step for them, in that they did that, and like everyone was like, "Oh shit, we got to round the edges from now on." And like, God knows, had they never done that, like, what would the PlayStation controller have been? Okay.
What could have been?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Basically, the only reason that this is not getting an S for me is basically the same reason why the early DualShocks ranked lower for you is now we know what could have been.
Yeah,
and it's missing something. It's missing
fair.
something without those sticks. It's just it's still a damn fine controller.
Yeah. This is probably hard pressed to say like my number 2 favorite controller of all time. I spent a lot of time with this boy as a lad, and like to this day
I can imagine.
it feels right. I love that controller.
So you're not budging from S on that one.
I have to give it an S just because.
Okay.
Just because.
I can
But
understand.
I can agree with A, but I'm giving it an S. Okay.
All right. I don't say last because we have another one, but probably the progenitor of every controller ever made. I'm sorry, I skipped. I skipped an entry.
You skipped
I'm
a
sorry.
few here. Okay, I was like,
I skipped one.
I've got
We are
5. I've got 6 left on my list.
well. No, hold on. I know what you're talking about, but I was going even older than that. Right now, let's just throw the Saturn 3D controller under the bus.
Okay.
Because I'm just gonna go ahead and give that a C.
Hey, God damn it, David. That's what I gave it to, motherfucker.
Okay. Okay. That seems fair.
God damn it. It is.
I mean, it doesn't look
100
particularly good.
No, it's not great, but it's not bad. Like, you'd be surprised at how comfortable it is compared to the original fucking Saturn controller.
It's coming really, the analog stick is coming really close to like that circle pad that the 3DS had, and I hate that thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It looks slightly better than that at least.
Yeah, it's not a great controller, don't get me wrong. It's definitely like C rank in my opinion. But like, you know how you were surprised that I threw its father in the trash can?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. This one is 1,000 times better than that controller. It looks fucking stupid.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. It looks dumb, but it is a much better
huge.
controller. Yeah, it's a big boy, but it's a much better controller. And the D-pad, David? D-pad's great.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's got a really good D-pad. Yeah, it
Okay.
does. It
Does it now? This is another one I've never used. Does it have triggers?
Like, on the controller?
Like underneath?
Not that I recall. I don't believe it does.
Yeah,
I
it's
could
awfully
be wrong.
large for having nothing underneath.
It's been a minute, because like my experience with Saturn is limited because it was my uncle that had the Saturn. So
Oh, okay.
like where my experience with that one's limited, but I don't recall there being triggers on this controller at all.
Okay.
Yes.
So back. Let's get back to the hype that I was trying to generate before I realized I skipped an entry. The progenitor of all video game controllers. Probably there may have been a few beforehand, but this one really just stuck with the people. The 2600 joystick.
Yep.
Which again, I've only used a reproduction with the plug and play Atari system. But I'm going to go ahead and give this a B.
Okay. We agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Really, I think it would have been better. It's just a giant brick.
It is.
That its button isn't even ambidextrous. Like it's only on the one side. At least the analog, that wasn't analog, but the stick on the reproduction controller I had was fairly decent. I don't know what the original was like.
You talking about the button on top of the stick?
No, the button off to the side.
Oh, okay.
So gotcha. Like when you were holding it, it was like up in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think that this was the better of the Atari controllers. I really do. It's still clunky as fuck. It is. But I feel like maybe it's because the games were slightly less advanced, but I feel like it's more responsive than the other two.
Okay.
In my opinion. So like it's still clunky and garbage and feels terrible, but as far as like responsiveness goes, I'm kind of grading this one based on the other Atari controllers, which is why it gets a better score than those other two. But yeah, I think it's overall it's just a better controller than the other two, in my opinion. It just feels better, even though it's still a clunky piece of garbage. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I've only used the reproduction one, so I can't speak to the originals, but it's okay.
Yeah, I wonder if we still
maybe
have
a little
the
bit better
Atari.
than okay, but
if we might still have that
okay.
in my dad's closet somewhere too. So.
Well, I guess we'll find out in a little bit, won't we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting to the end here. The final 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the final 5 controllers in our list. Number 5 is the Wii U gamepad, which I have bestowed a C.
Okay. We're not too far off on this one. I gave it a B.
Okay. Honestly, it's just too big. Like, I realize what they're trying to do with the screen on the thing, but it's just too big for me.
It's large, and like I agree that it is large. Overall, though, I actually felt like it was quite comfortable, and everything worked. Like it, for the most part, I don't feel like anything on it was necessarily egregious, and I liked the size of the screen a lot. Comparatively, like they kind of shrunk it down for the Switch, which it makes the controls probably feel smoother, I would say, but I think it was actually an overall very good controller, personally speaking.
Plus, it had that whole like TV integration, which just felt like wasted space because who cared really on the Wii U?
Yeah, I mean, they both did that. So it's fine. It's fine. I usually just used it as a handheld.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just streaming it from wherever it was.
Yeah, I basically just, would use that for the most part. I didn't, obviously it doesn't work like that for every game. At least not every game I played. But, like, for the most part, you could just play it like a handheld. It's not like the Switch where you can just plug in the game and go. But it was kind of like a handheld experience that you could just play on the TV. And I thought it was pretty cool.
Back from the bed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, I'll come up to a B on that one. I'll meet you on that one.
He's done it. Okay.
I'll give the Wii U gamepad a B.
Here comes a
All
good
right.
one, boys.
Yeah, up next. The Atari Jaguar, which coincidentally has the feature that makes me give a controller an automatic trash rating.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one you wanted to talk about right here.
This is the one I wanted to talk about. So obviously I'm giving the Jaguar a trash. Tim?
Yeah, me too.
Also trash. Okay, here's the thing. If your controller has a number pad on it, it's trash.
Yeah, that's
just
fair.
I don't care what else the controller has. If there's a number pad on your controller, it is garbage.
Oh god. Yeah, it's okay. So like I know you've seen this thing. Not only is this a big boy, it's a big unresponsive boy that it just has too many fucking buttons. Like, what the fuck are you trying to do, guys? It is a fucking trash can. This is the worst controller I have touched.
It's bad.
It's real
like
bad.
I said, I've never actually held one of these, but just from looking at the pictures, the D-pad looks awful. It's too big. It's got a number pad. Atari, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I can't imagine there's anyone who exists who has fond memories of this controller.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay. I think we might be going for a twofer. Because up next is Microsoft's Kinect, which I have thrown in the trash.
And it is joined by my rating in the trash can. Okay.
Look, here's the thing. I actually really appreciate the fact that the Kinect found applications outside of the Xbox to be useful in. That's cool. That's great for a piece of consumer electronics. But for games, 100% pure garbage.
Yeah, it's just bad. You played it. You probably played it at who's this?
I have played
house.
a little bit of it. Yes.
Yeah. It's bad, right? Like it was not enjoyable
great
whatsoever.
It is. It's pretty bad.
It doesn't do a very good job at tracking your movement, first off. And then when it does, it just doesn't control well at all.
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's absolute trash. It just doesn't respond to anything you fucking do. It's just like, oh, did you flail your arm wildly in that direction? No, I didn't. I was standing here doing nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's bad. The one shining moment that the Kinect ever had was in one of the worst Paranormal Activity films. Okay.
Yeah, I was actually just about to bring that up, although I wasn't going to paint it so positively as you did.
Okay. That was a shining moment in my mind, and it wasn't even a great moment.
Wasn't even a great moment.
No.
A terrible moment from a terrible controller.
So, there you go.
All right. 2 left. 2 very, very different controllers left.
Okay.
First up, Tim, I have no idea why you asked me to put this on the list.
I'll explain it once we're done talking.
It is the Steel Battalion Mech Warrior controller.
Yes, the command center
Which-
itself.
I'm just going to agree with whatever you give it, Tim, because
So-
I've never used this fucking monster.
I have also never used this, but I'm giving it an S rank.
Okay, I don't know if I can agree with that. Okay, this
Okay.
thing is kind of just
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah. So this controller, I've never touched it. I want it. I want it so bad. All right. So like, I'm super into mechs and the idea of piloting a mech. All right. And this is the closest I'm ever gonna get. Okay. Like, it literally has controls for everything. It's got an eject button. It's got a self-destruct button. It's got the little flippy doodads for your missiles. It's got fucking 2 goddamn control arms. It's got machine gun buttons. It's got everything. Okay.
It does literally have everything.
Yeah. It's literally a fucking mech command center, and that's awesome. I have no idea how responsive it is. I don't know how well it worked. I've never heard anything bad about it. So, I'm just
Okay,
giving it an
that's-
S based
that's
off my
fair, I
dreams. But,
Okay. Well,
don't
I can't agree with that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a B
okay.
for just being silly. How about that? We'll give it a B for silly.
I just
Okay.
wanted to add this to the list for anyone who's never heard of it because incredible. Okay.
My God, look at that thing. Okay. Deep breath. The final controller is possibly the controller. The original. The OG
Yeah.
Nintendo Entertainment System controller,
NES.
which I have given a C.
Okay. I gave it an A, but I'm willing to drop.
Okay, look, here's the thing. It was one of the first, right? And at the time, it was phenomenal.
Yep.
It's just a brick.
It is.
It's just a square brick.
And that is
and it's
why
only
it
got-
doesn't get an S.
Its two buttons are right in line. I think the Super Nintendo did it better where they were at not a 45 degree angle, but they were angled to the
Yep.
way you held it. That's much better. Nintendo basically invented the D-pad, so that's automatically not garbage.
Yeah, that's the best part about this fucking... The D-pad is insane. It's so good. Oh, God. The D-pad's
But,
amazing
yeah,
on the NES controller.
I don't think especially with as old as it is now, I don't really think I can give it more than a C.
Yeah, I will drop... I will. I just want everyone to know it's A rank. But I will drop to low B. No, I'll drop
a
to
low
a C just based on how I was scoring everything else. So I will drop it down to a
he
C
did it.
just because the SNES controller is such a fucking upgrade.
It
That
is.
this controller
really
is just
is.
absolutely blown out of the water. Even though, and I also will deduct points because it's not the most comfortable controller on earth. Okay, it's
Yeah.
not. It is literally just a brick. And had this been the way that controllers went, I don't think gaming would have caught on as much as it did if they kept that sharp corner design.
This basically I did this one as you were doing the Dual Shocks. It's
Yeah.
sure it was first, but man, we had a lot to learn.
Yeah. So I'll drop to a C. I don't think it's bad, but it's not great comparatively to other things
And
that
it
have come after
certainly
it.
it certainly got better.
Yes. So I will drop
All right.
to a C.
With that,
begrudgingly.
our list is complete.
Yes.
On the screen, I'm sure you'll be able to see what each of our rankings were for this massive list of controllers.
It's ridiculous.
If we missed any controllers that you think we should have included, put them in the comments, and maybe we'll do this again once we get more we can do.
in the future.
Pick a thumb, let us know how the video was, and subscribe so that you can see more of these silly little videos that we do. But in the meantime, thank you for putting up with this list, and we'll see you next time.
Good day, everyone.